What's up, you guys? Tyler Schoaf here, and I got another video, and I'm going to drop a ton of knowledge, you guys. I just left the We Live 19 event with Max Maxwell, and I was with my buddy Jake Farr, and he asked me a ton of questions that I thought would be extremely valuable to you guys. So what I did was I recorded the entire thing. It's about an hour's worth of content, and we talk about systems, softwares, processes, and all of that to learn how to grow your wholesaling business. On top of that, I teach you how to test different marketing strategies, how you can track it and why you want to track it and why it's important. I talk about virtual assistants, how you can train them and, grow your business, because let's face it, you're going to need to outsource and delegate a lot of these tasks in your wholesaling business. And that's where virtual assistants come in, because they're extremely helpful. So we talk about that, you guys. We talk about how to find contractors to help you analyze the properties you're looking at, and how you could provide them value so they will actually want to do it. On top of that, we talked about a few more things. I talk about a unique strategy on how to find buyers for your deals, and another unique strategy on how to analyze deals quickly. So you guys, I dropped a ton of knowledge here, and it's just so much information that it's something that you definitely want to watch if you're looking to grow and scale your wholesaling business. Learn about my systems, learn about my processes and softwares, and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Unfortunately, we did record this at an airport, and it's unedited raw content, you guys. So I didn't edit it. I didn't waste any time doing any of that stuff. So taking Gary V's advice and just documenting everything, and I'm providing the information to you guys for free. Okay, so listen, guys, you want to check it out because it's going to help you grow to the next level. So here it is, you guys. I hope you enjoy. What's up, you guys? Tyler Schoaf here. Jake's going to ask me a few questions, and I'm just going to answer them for you guys.
So what would you say starting out is the most important systems? Well, not even starting out, just say you got your business flowing and it's going good. What are the most important systems to have in your business? Start off from the most important, like the one you need first,
like softwares
and foremost,
and stuff like that.
And then what each of those softwares provide for your business, and how do you utilize them to propel your business?
Yeah, it's really gonna depend on how many deals you've done, and how large your current list of sellers are. So if you got a large list, like thousands of sellers on your list, compared to if you just having 50 or 100 or whatever, then you can use Excel file. But if you got thousands or several hundreds and you've done a few deals, then I would recommend you use Investor Fuse 2.0. That is a CRM that tracks your leads, tracks your KPIs, stuff like that. So a lead is when a seller calls you and you qualify them. If they're motivated in any kind of way, I consider that as a lead. Or if they have equity in the property, I consider that as a lead that I'll consistently follow up on, until they tell me to stop following up with them, or if not, then I just keep them in the pipeline for however long until we work something out.
Okay, so it tracks your leads and your
Your KPIs, which that's key performance indicators. So what that pretty much means is you're tracking your marketing. It's going to tell you, how many leads per contract, how many leads do you have per one contract? How many leads does it take you to generate per one contract? How many calls does it take to get a contract? And there's several other stuff that we can go through. Let's see, actually I'll pull it up.
So is that all Investor Fuse does is basically tracks your leads and your KPIs?
Yes, and it's a follow-up system.
So what does that mean?
You can do like automatic follow-ups, and then it lets you know your next actions, pretty much. What's your next action with that lead? Do you need to analyze the deal? Do you need to set an appointment? Do you need to call the seller back? Do you need to make an offer? You know, stuff like that. And it pretty much forces you to take the action. You have to take the action in order to see the next. I think there's like 20. In the focus mode, there's only a handful of them. But if you're not in the focus mode, I think there's about 20 or something like that to follow up on. And you just go through your leads and follow up with what's most important first. So KPIs, like I said, you're going to track the acquisitions cost. You know, how much did you spend to obtain a contract? You're going to do cost per lead. How much did you spend to obtain a lead? Offers to contract. How much offers do you need to make to get a contract? Contracts to close deals. How many signed contracts do you need to close one deal? Leads to contracts. How many leads did it take to obtain a contract? Total calls, how many total incoming calls you've received in the past 7 days, in the past month, whatever you want to look at. So yeah, and that just lets you know what marketing channels are working the best. So for each marketing channel, you're gonna use a different number. And the reason why you do that is so you can see what works better. So if you're say you want to do direct mail, and you're trying 3 different letters or 3 different postcards or whatever. You can see which ones work better by these numbers.
Really?
You see what I'm saying? So if you stick a number on each one and you track it, you see how many leads you got from it. You see how many contracts you got from it.
Wow. So this allows you to dissect and see which channel of advertising is better for you. So then you take probably the least, you take the budget from that and dump it into the most.
So if you really wanted best results, you could pretty much hit the same list with a different business name or a different name on it, and use 3 different postcards, or 2 postcards and a letter, or 2 letters and a postcard, however you want to do it. You know what I mean? Just to test the same lead or the same list. Because if you use a different list, then you're going to get different results no matter what, because it's a different list. But if you hit the same list and then test it that way, but with different business names, because it's a test. You know, if it says all the same business on it, then that's not really going to test it, because if they call one number, you know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if they call all 3 numbers, you know that all 3 of them work.
Okay.
But if you got a lead that only called 1 number instead of the other 2 postcards, then you know that postcard worked better than the other postcard, or that letter worked better than the other one.
So you just switch up the style of the postcard and maybe what the letter says?
Yeah, say for example you got a list of 1,000 people. All right, and you got letter 1, letter 2, letter 3. Okay. Or postcard 1, postcard 2, postcard 3, whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. But let's just say you're testing out 3 different strategies, 3 different techniques. You hit that same list. You don't have to do 1,000. I'm just throwing the pure example. You can do 500, 100, 200, whatever. But the bigger it is, the more accurate the number. The larger the list you hit, the more accurate it's going to be.
Yeah.
You're only hitting 100 people with different. That's not really tracking, in my opinion. But if you hit the same list, 3 different ways, put all different numbers on there, all different buyers, then you'll really see what attracts the sellers the most. So are they going to call all 3? Because it's the same list. You know what I mean? So if you're on that list, and I'm the one that's doing the tracking, I'm the wholesaler that's trying to see what works best, you're going to get 3 different. You're going to get a letter, you're going to get another letter, and you're going to get different, all different names, all different numbers on them, phone numbers on them.
Now, are these letters and postcards going to say different things?
Yes.
So, in that sense...
I mean, you don't have to. You can just change the color of the letter or the color of the envelope.
Okay, so to find out which one they're
what works
reacting to the best.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
One that catches their eye. A plain one, or maybe one with a bright color.
Yeah, exactly.
A standard envelope, or a more personal...
Or invitation stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you're just testing.
Okay. Or
And
just
then,
blank postcard.
Yep.
Okay.
However you want to do it. Whatever you think will work best. You know what I mean? You just try it and see. And if you, let's say, you got 150 calls total from one letter, 100 calls from another postcard, 200 calls from the other letter. Now you're seeing which ones work best. See what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay, so what if people wanted to door knock on the same list?
You can do that too.
Would that be smart?
You can door knock the list. You can, but you would have to door knock on the mailing address.
Okay.
Because that's who owns it.
Absolutely. So
it's not the. So what I mean by that, you guys, if you don't know what I mean, so he's saying if you got a list of properties that you're going to door knock, you want to knock on the door where the owner lives. So if the target property is 123 Main Street, but their mailing address is 123 New York Street, which is two completely different addresses, you're going to want to knock on the New York Street because that's their mailing address. That's likely where they live. So with that being said, you can. That's more of a strategy for somebody who's on a budget.
Yeah.
So it's a good strategy to
start off with, probably.
Yeah. Most definitely, because you're just door knocking, you're gaining the experience, personal experience. If you're ready to scale, though, I don't recommend that because it's super time consuming.
Yeah.
So if you want to get 5-10 deals in a month, door knocking is extremely time consuming. So it's going to be hard. But if you mail to all of them, cold call all of them, send them all a RVM, send them all SMS texts.
What if you hired a 10-person team of door knockers?
You can. It'd be hard to hire 10
Yeah.
because you can.
Kind of like, those I sell vacuums teams?
You can.
Kind of probably the same thing. You just train them probably for a couple weeks.
Probably more than a couple weeks.
Yeah, probably a good month, real hard, and make sure they have that sales experience.
You would have to take them on different appointments and stuff. You can't bring a team of 10 people with you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You'd have to break it up. So, but it's possible, yeah, for sure. So,
yeah, that'd be pretty smart for somebody starting off.
Yeah.
Because then you.
But once you have enough money, the best way to do it is
just mail them.
Yeah, or one of the other strategies.
So cold call,
because you're hitting You're hitting them a lot faster. Even though door knocking is more personal, it's gonna work. Yeah. There's not saying it's not gonna work. It will work, but to scale that, it would be harder because you're gonna need more boots on the ground. You're gonna need more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna be a lot. Like I said, it's a lot of time consuming. That's a time consuming task. So you gotta really have some motivated people on your team to do something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah, so absolutely.
But for me personally, I would just do the mass mailing and the mass ringless voicemail, the mass cold call, text.
So when you pull your list, I know you said like the list you pull is probably not going to be. It's going to give you back. It's going to skip trace and give you the owner's name. So the owner, it may be
Say that one more time.
So it may be an absentee owner of the property that you pull, right?
Yeah.
And then that list, when you skip trace it and the list comes back, it gives you that property's owner's mailing address.
Yeah. So the tax billing address is the mailing address. So you're going to get the target property, which is whatever address you wrote down when you're writing for dollars. And then whenever you skip trace, or you're actually going to look on the property tax assessor website. And then you'll get their mailing address. It's supposed to be in, so the best way to do it would probably to download Deal Machine.
Okay.
And put all the addresses in there, then export it, because it automatically exports it all. So you don't have to like write it down on a piece of paper, then they go search for the mailing address and type it into Excel. I mean, you could, but it's gonna be time consuming. It'd probably be faster to do it on Deal Machine.
So you input them all on Deal Machine.
Yeah.
You export it. What are you exporting it to?
In an Excel file.
Okay.
You export it to your computer.
And then automatically uploads as an Excel through Deal Machine?
Yeah, it should.
And then once you do that, so so I guess we've got Invest Refusal. We know what Invest Refusal is for. So say we want to skip trace. What's the best skip tracing software to get, and what all does it do and pull?
There's several different skip tracing services. Need to Skip's good.
What is that?
Need to Skip.
Need to skip?
Yeah, that's Carlos Reyes.
How would you spell that?
Need to Skip.
Need to Skip.
Yep, D to Skip. There was another one I wanted to try out too.
Carlos Reyes?
Carlos Reyes.
Reyes? Is that pretty affordable?
So that's more for batch skip tracing, honestly. If you're doing like smaller skips, I would use Skip Genie.
So batch, like what's the least you could do on his?
I don't think you'd really do it unless you got like thousands, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So really, you would want to, if you're new, you don't have that big of a list, then Skip Genie's a good one. If you just got a smaller list, yeah. But there's a lot of apps out there, so if it's not, you can use any app you want to or any website you want to. You just test it. If it's not working that good for you, then try something else.
Okay.
So,
and you just probably to find all the different ones, you'd probably go to Google and just put in skip tracing softwares. What's the average price per skip? Like, say you're doing a list of 1,000. What would be the?
They're all
because I know
different,
it varies, right?
Yeah, they're all different. You just have to do research on it.
Okay. And when it pulls that,
I think Need to Skip's like $1 or something for one search.
Really?
Yeah. But that's if you're doing like smaller quantities. So you just have to do research on it.
So when
prices vary too.
When it skip traces,
they change it.
What all is it pulling? Is it pulling every address that person owns, and
it's pulling phone numbers? They give you like 10 different phone numbers or something like that. You can pull up their family relations. So like if somebody's searching me and we're brothers, they could potentially bring your information up as well. Okay. So I've done that before, where I called someone had passed away on this property. It was a probate, and I got in hold with a family member, and then they put me in contact with the two kids who was the heir. So
okay.
Yeah.
How'd that deal work out?
I made $70,000 on it.
Really?
Yeah, that's that one deal.
The guy was in prison?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But I didn't know it was a probate, it just happened. I was trying to contact the guy, and then whenever I asked my aunt if she knew where he was, then that's how I found out he was dead.
Oh, wow.
She put me in contact with the heirs.
Now, in that case, like if a family member gives you contact information for, like, do you try to look out for them in a way, or do they even ask for that?
I mean, you can add value to them.
So
that would make them want to tell them more.
So what would be the typical, like, what would you
offer? Whatever. It's all negotiable. You can say
okay.
You can say whatever.
I could pay you for.
Yeah, I could pay you if you put me in contact with them.
Okay. Now that wouldn't be illegal, would it? Like, you know,
they're helping.
You're just helping them.
I don't know if it's illegal. I'm not an attorney with them. I don't see why it would be.
Yeah.
They're just saying, hey, if you can put me in contact with this person, I'll give you some money for helping me.
If somebody called me wanting my family's info, unless it's the FBI, you know, I'm gonna probably give them that information for a little cash, and if it's in a good way, you know. So after skip tracing, what would be the next software you would probably need?
after skip tracing.
Is there like
So call rail is definitely must needed. You got investor views on there. Mailchimp is must needed. Mailchimp's free too, so I would just recommend you get that as soon as possible.
what does call rail do?
So call rail pretty much tracks. So remember, that goes back to the KPIs. So when I said put a number on each one, on each of your marketing campaigns or strategies or whatever, call rail allows you to do that. And then also on top of it, you can create call flows. So like for my example, when I hire my team this year, I'm going to have all incoming leads go to the lead manager. If they don't answer, then it's going to be the acquisitions manager's job to answer it. If they don't answer it, then it'll probably get pushed to a virtual assistant or a call center having a site. So yeah, you can set up call flows like that, and you can also like set schedules.
Okay.
So you can say, call our office between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. But after that, it goes to the VAs or something. Okay. See what I'm saying? And you can also like record conversations.
So a VA, what's a VA?
Virtual assistant.
Now are they able to work, say somebody calls you, I don't know, at a crazy time, 11:30. Are they working at that time?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be whatever schedule you set for them. They're going to believe.
So would it be smart to hire a couple different ones and just say you give one a late shift just in case you have those late inbound calls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's how you want to do it. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're starting out new, you need a budget. But I would recommend you learn about it first.
Yeah.
Being new, you want to learn about it. You want to master answering the phones, because that's the only way they're going to learn is from you. So if you
have to train your VA.
Of course.
Okay.
Because the thing is if you don't train them, how can you expect them to do good?
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true.
They only know as much as you teach them.
So how would you train them? Like a video call?
Yeah, video call. You can use websites or apps that record your screen. So, like I said, CallRail can record the conversation. So if you're recording your conversation with the seller, then you can send that to your VA. And then you can like pause it. You can have a screen recorder playing.
Just go through it,
and then pause it on certain spots of the recording and say, hey, this is why I said this, or this is why I did it this way. And then they learn from it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's real important to know. How much are VAs typically?
It really depends. Everything's going to be negotiable. But my first, I hired 3 of them, and they all started at $1.50. I got one at $3 now. She's been with me for a year, so
this is
a little
per
over
hour.
A year.
Wow, they work for $1.50 to $3 an hour.
Yeah, they're in the Philippines. So
and you're working them 40 hours a week?
30 or 40, depending how much work they got to do.
Wow.
But I'll give them salary too. So if I didn't give them enough work for the week, I would just pay the full 30 hours. So it's minimum salary,
guaranteed.
Yeah, salary
unless they go over.
Yeah, so it's minimum 30 hours salary.
Now, what if they wanted to work on the weekends or something? They had outbound calls.
They can. It's all negotiable.
Just whatever you agree
so
to.
whatever you two agree to. If they agree to it, then yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever they want to do. Some of them are real happy to do it.
Yeah.
My VAs love working for me, dude. It's a lot of money. I know it don't sound like a lot of money here because we're in America, obviously, but there, dude,
it's a lot to them.
Yeah, they don't mind. Especially the ones that are moms, they're stay-at-home moms. They love working at home.
So would you suggest hiring a female versus a male?
All 3 of mine are VAs, or females. But it don't matter as long as they're good.
As long as they're good?
Yeah. Doesn't matter if it's male or female.
Now, are these people, are they already experienced salespeople or not at all? They're just looking for a job?
I mean, you can hire experienced ones.
If you get lucky to come across one.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be more.
I mean, they're out there for sure. They're going to be more pricey.
So say you wanna hire somebody directly in house to be a cold caller. Obviously, we're in the U.S. It's probably going to be about a minimum wage that you would have to pay them.
Yeah, cold caller, man. You wanna treat them well though, because that's. Imagine cold calling all day, every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
That'd be your bread and butter, right?
yeah. So you'd have to pay them well. I'd pay them more than $7.25. I mean, I'm not gonna tell you what to pay your employees. You do whatever is best for you and your company. And in your area, every area is going to be different. In California, you're probably going to have to pay somebody more here than Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So, really, it depends on your area as well.
Okay. So we've got Investor Fuse,
CallRail, Mailchimp,
the Skip Tracing website, Skip Genie, CallRail, Mailchimp. Now, real quick,
and
Mailchimp.
MLS is extremely important.
Okay, so back to CallRail real quick. Does CallRail does it fuse in with Investor Fuse?
Yeah.
To pull data?
Yep. So whenever a call comes in, it automatically gets pushed to Investor Fuse.
Now you have to set that up.
Even if you missed it, it'll get pushed to it. They'll set it up for you.
Oh, Investor Fuse does? You just give them like your login for CallRail?
They'll set it up for you.
Ooh, so how can you could pull this automatically pulls data, and then there's an option in this system that you go to see each data, or do you have to go in there and edit it yourself?
You can see the data on Investor Fuse and on
CallRail. Okay. All right. So then Mailchimp, real quick. You said that's free. What exactly does Mailchimp do?
That sends out your list, your deals to your buyers list.
Okay.
And it tracks it as well.
As in, like if they open.
So, yep. If they open the email, it'll tell you how many times they opened it. It'll tell you who opened it. It'll tell you who's not opening it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It'll tell you if they click on a link that you got attached to it. So if you got some comps attached to it, or a Dropbox link for your pictures, it'll tell you if they click on it.
Okay.
So if they click on it, you know, they probably got some interest.
Yeah.
And if they opened it 20 times, you know, they probably got some interest.
So it tracks every time they open it. Okay, so if they don't open it, I know I heard you talking to a couple guys earlier. You were saying something about it goes to the spam. So is there anything that you can do to prevent that?
Yes. So what he's asking you guys is, since Mailchimp is an email blast, there's a good chance it's going to go in your junk folder and your spam folder, or not yours, but the recipients, which is going to be your buyers. So what I do in order to help that is email your buyer first, personally, without using Mailchimp. That way, whenever they reply to you, you're going to have to say something to where they reply to you. You don't want to send them something that just, you're not going to get a reply. Make sure you send something so you get a reply. Then their email system, or their email provider, whether they're using Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, or whatever, they're going to read your email better. So whenever you send out an email blast, it's going to know that email is safe. You got a better chance of it reading it as safe because they received an email from you and they replied to it.
So that initial contact, should it be something like just introducing yourself and your company and letting them know that you'll be sending them deals? Just anything like that?
Say that one more time?
So the initial contact, to prevent it going to junk mail, that you shoot out yourself from, not through Mailchimp but through your personal email. You contact them. Would that email probably be like introducing yourself and letting them know that you'll be sending them deals?
Yep. You can say anything. It depends on if you talk to them, how much you talk to them, what do you guys talked about.
Okay.
So if you talked about that stuff already, then you could just say, hey, I'm just emailing you, letting you know this is my number. Reply back if you got this, just so I know.
Okay.
Do something simple as that.
Would it be a good idea to maybe ask for their personal contact info too?
Yep. I always try to get
email.
Yeah, I'll try to get the number too.
Okay.
That way, if you see they're interested in the email, or you see they're interested in the deal, they're opened up the email 10, 15 times. They clicked your link several times. They gotta have interest. So then if they haven't called you yet, you call them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you just start talking to them about it, see if there's any issues or whatever, anything you can solve. Because you're not only solving problems with sellers, you're also solving problems with buyers.
True.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely.
You always got to figure out how you can make it work.
So with Mailchimp, so this isn't like Mailchimp isn't a email provider itself. It just tracks from your personal email already that you already have.
Yeah,
and
so
it just acts as a sender for it.
Yeah, it acts as a sender as your email address.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, perfect.
Your main email address. It'll look like it's coming from your main email address.
Okay.
Your business email.
Okay. I just want to clear up, make sure we're not.
So whenever they reply,
a whole new email through Mailchimp.
So whenever it replies, it's automatically going to shoot back to your main email address.
Okay. Cool.
And that's 2,000 free subscribers for Mailchimp. So you get a buyer's list of 2,000 people, and it's still free. So it's a must-have ASAP for sure.
Is there an app that you could probably download on your phone, or they don't have an app yet?
Yeah, they got an app.
Oh, do they?
Yep.
So you could do it from your phone if you have all your documents in?
Yep. If you're at a meetup or something, you can add them right there. But also send them. Don't forget to send them that email first, that personal email. You can all do that while you're meeting them as well.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
So speaking of
and then
apps,
you can just be honest with them. So if you're at a meeting with somebody, just say, hey, I just sent an email. Can you reply back to us? And when I send you a deal, it doesn't go to your junk folder. Well, okay. I'll just reply back to you.
Perfect. So speaking of apps, is there an app, say you're on vacation and you get a deal. Somebody wants, your VA calls you, says, hey, here's a hot lead. They're ready to sign a contract. Yep. Is there a way to send them a contract through like email or something that they can sign?
Yep.
Okay.
To sellers.
Yeah. So what kind of app would that be?
DocuSign.
DocuSign?
Yeah. And then if they're not tech savvy, they're the kind of person that, they don't know how to use the computer, they don't know how to use a smartphone. You just, at that point, you gotta get boots on the ground. If you're not in town, boots on the ground. So if you're doing it virtually, you don't know anybody in that city or whatever, then you probably want to get a realtor, a licensed realtor, because they're going to be more trustworthy, because they got a license. They can't do anything unethical by law or go lose a license.
That's smart.
So if you use them instead of like somebody off Craigslist, you got a better chance of being legitimate.
Or another wholesaler.
Yeah, or another wholesaler.
Potentially steal your deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, they can. You got to build that rapport.
Yeah, absolutely. Add value, right?
So, yeah.
As long as you're adding value to everybody involved, you probably won't get shady work done to you.
Yep.
But I'm sure there's just shady people out there, so you got to watch yourself.
For sure. But it happens. You learn from it and keep going. So you don't let it stop you.
All right, so DocuSign. Is there anything that we're missing that's like really crucial? Okay, say you get a house under contract. How would you set up that to send off to your buyers? You just send pictures to them and email a description of what the house is, or do you do posters?
So you talking about my email ad?
Yeah.
To the buyers?
Yeah. So your ad.
I mean, pretty much it's pretty simple, man. Let me show you. Well, I can't really show them, but actually, let me show my phone so the camera can see as well. So I'm about to show you guys one of my email advertisements to my buyers. So here it is right here, you guys. I'll just pretty much tell you the basics. It has my logo on it at the top. You see that? It says off market, deeply discounted, and then I just got a picture right there. I know you guys can't really see it. There you go. It's got a picture right there. It has the address, the square footage, the beds, baths. It says it has a 1-car garage. It tells the location of the property. Let's say I also put the potential of the property in there. So in this one, for example, I said the attic is the same length as the first floor, which could potentially double the square footage if it's finished. So the house is 900 square feet, but the attic is the same size as the main floor. So if you finish the attic out, you could potentially double the square footage. So I made sure to add that in there so the buyers can see that.
And that brings it up in value, right?
If they finish, yeah, because it's more square footage. And then I also mentioned that it has a garage, which in this particular area, a garage is very valuable. In this particular area, houses with garage can, go for a lot more money, and that alone will save 15 grand in my area, because it costs about 15 grand, 20,000 to build a garage from the ground up. So I'll let them know, hey, you're saving money because it already has a garage. Then I also tell what's going around in the area. So if there's new construction happening around in the area, if there's a lot of construction rehabs going on in the area, then I'll mention that. Then I'll also mention the contract price and the market activity.
Your
and
contract price? What you want for the property, right?
The asking price is what I meant. So how much ever you're trying to sell it for. So for the market activity, pretty much what that is I just pull up in a 1/4 mile radius what's going on in that neighborhood. So I'll show all the active, all the pending, and all the sold, and I just attach that link to the email, and they can see exactly what's going on in the area. But you got a 90% chance of the buyer doing that themselves anyway. So if they're going to buy it, they're going to do it themselves. So I don't worry too much about that. But I make sure I put it there. So yeah, and that's pretty much it with Mailchimp, man. You can also, like I said, you can track the numbers.
So to create that ad to send to your buyers, is there a certain app or anything that you would use?
You create it with Mailchimp. They make it pretty easy, man.
Oh, Mailchimp does that too? Really?
You create the ad on Mailchimp. Yep.
So I see you have links. How would you? They give you an option within there to
add
put
links.
your links for each thing.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yep.
Makes it look a lot more professional and easier also.
Yep.
You have to get your link and all that.
You just click the button and it takes you directly to the Dropbox link or directly to the MyBoard link.
So what is Dropbox?
Dropbox is pretty much an app that will keep all your pictures and videos of a property in there. So whenever you go in a house, you take 100 pictures, you take a video of the house, you need a place to store it to create a link. So you upload them all to Dropbox, put it in its own folder. So you just took pictures of videos of 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street, you make a folder of 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street, and you upload the pictures in that folder, and then you copy that link, make a link for it, copy it, and then add it into your Mailchimp.
So you said about 100 pictures you would take?
Whatever.
Just however many.
The more the better. Yeah, the more the better.
Okay.
You don't want to only send. You don't want to be the guy sending 5, 10 photos. They really want to see what's going on. You got to think they're buying the house. They want to see everything that's wrong.
Without having to walk through.
Yeah. So you want minimum appointments anyways. When you're dealing with people that live there and tenants and stuff, they get annoyed. You got to come there.
So in that case, if there's somebody living there, have you ever come across a situation where they didn't want you to take pictures? Or, what do you do in that case?
I mean, it's not often. You just tell them.
Yeah, you're buying a house and you need pictures.
Need pictures to show my contract. I never had somebody turn it down.
So in that case, those are probably already occupied units, rent ready, obviously cash flow already, right?
I mean, you're talking about for people who might not want you to take pictures? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm saying just people that live in the properties. If you're buying a property and people already live there.
Yeah, it's going to either be owner occupied or tenant occupied.
Okay.
Unless there's a squatter in there.
Yeah. So in that case, you probably have to evict them and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that happen?
I mean, I wouldn't be the one evicting. It'd either be the seller or the buyer. One of them would be dealing with it. I mean, you can help them deal with it if you really want to close the deal to make it easier on them. So if you really was like, okay, this is a good deal, I'm gonna make sure this isn't gonna fall through, then yeah, help make sure it gets done.
Yeah.
Especially if the seller's out of town or the buyer's out of town.
Okay.
And then at that point, you're definitely gonna have to step up.
So that's probably gonna take longer than the normal 30-day closing, right?
I mean, it depends.
If the buyer's okay,
maybe you can offer the tenant some money. You know, say, hey, I'll give you $500, $1,000 or whatever you leave, or not the tenant, but the squatter.
Yeah. Whoever's living there, whoever's the tenant, right?
I mean, if they want the tenant to stay there, sometimes the buyer wants the tenant to stay there, or sometimes they're going to vacate anyways.
Okay.
So it all depends on what their lease says as well.
Awesome. Okay, so then I think we've covered pretty much everything, except for a title company.
Yeah.
And the MLS access, like how, I know you've already had a video explaining that.
So MLS access, you just provide value. Just however you give them some money, or you give them a lease that doesn't work for you, and you got a good chance of getting MLS access. For a title company, you want to make sure it's an investor-friendly title company. The best way to find an investor-friendly one is just call as many as possible, or network with other wholesalers.
Okay.
So if you need to call 20 title companies to make sure you can do assignments or double closings, then call 20 title companies.
Okay.
Or you just get a recommendation from somebody who's doing it in your market.
Okay.
So
awesome.
Find them. You go on, your local real estate meetups. Bigger Pockets is a good website to network with other wholesalers. Facebook, stuff like that. Recommendations of other people you've met in real estate. They might know people.
Also, we haven't talked about the contractors. Like, so if you want you obviously want to get the house looked at by your own contractor, right? To get estimates, especially if you don't know how much things will be to repair.
Yeah.
Or would you typically just let the buyer figure that out?
I usually don't get an exact estimate on it. I usually let the buyer just figure it out. What you can do to work your way around that is just see what the investors are buying the property at. So if you're on the MLS and you see 5 properties that are similar to yours just sell between 70 and 80,000, and they're similar condition to yours, then yours is worth about 70, 80,000.
So you just dropped a major gem right there, because a lot of people's problem is trying to figure out the repair cost. Because they're like, well, who do I call? Maybe waste some money on contractors. It could be all kind of things.
But there's a thin line between that, in my opinion, because you can do it. It works. 100%. That's how you can do deals virtually, 100%. But you also can take it a step further and get contractors in there to get a better ballpark estimate, so you can also analyze a deal as a rental and analyze a deal as a rehab. Because the numbers don't work that way for whatever reason. Not every number is going to work that way.
As a wholesale deal?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's investors buying at that price, but it doesn't mean, or there's cash purchases at that price, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to sell it at that price.
Okay,
Not
so
all
you're
the
saying
time.
like,
so you can,
versus a rental being just a rental doing some small updates versus a flipper wanting to buy
so
it.
for example, I just said there was some selling between 70, 80,000. All right, and maybe the seller wants, let's say the seller wants 60, okay, and you want to sell it for 70, but you can't find a buyer for it. For whatever reason, you can't find a buyer for it. You either have to go renegotiate it, or run your numbers as a rental or flip and and then renegotiate. So you get a real price, a more detailed price. You see what I'm saying?
So there's a different way to run the numbers as a rental?
Yes.
How do you go about that?
And we'd have to talk about that in another video because that would take up a lot of time.
Really? So different formula and everything?
Yeah, because you got to make sure it's cash flow.
So then you probably have to get like utilities, taxes, all that, and figure all that.
Yeah, utilities, taxes, insurance, principal, mortgage.
Okay.
And there's a lot to it. Property management. That's like 10%. So there's a lot more to it. And then you gotta make sure you got a good ROI.
Cool.
So what I was trying to say is, and I don't know if I made sense or not, but what I was trying to say is, sometimes that strategy I was telling you about, you pull up the cash transactions, maybe the numbers don't work that way for whatever reason for your buyers. Okay. For your buyers. Then, let me take that back. Let me take a step back. Let's say it's, alright, let's say for example, you can sell you see your cash transactions at 50,000 or 60,000 or something. And the seller wants that much. You might pay, if you're only analyzing it in a way to where I just told you to, that shortcut, if you only analyze it that way, in my opinion, and they're only willing to take that much. So for example, if you got it for 60 and they want 60, or you didn't get it for 60, how am I going to explain this? I might have to edit that. I'm trying to think of how I'm going to say this. Because I know it in my head, you know what I mean? I'm going to say this. Alright. So, you're asking what the best way to analyze a deal is. And I said, if you do the cash transactions around it, say you got 3 properties for 70,000 apiece, or 70, 75, and 80,000. Alright? In order to sell it for that, you got to get it for 55, 60, make a good profit. And if the seller's not wanting that much, say they do want 70, okay? You see 70, 75, and 80, or whatever. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
70, 75, and 80 sold for a similar property. But you can't sell it for it. Let's say, for example, you get it for that price and you can't sell it at that price. So now you got to run your numbers a different way because it doesn't work like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you run it like a rental, and then you run it like a fix and flip, then you might come up with a different purchase price number that'll make sense.
And then, so you would market that to probably only landlords?
So you can pinpoint the actual number down better to your buyer.
And
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you would show all the...
See, the thing is you want to find out, how your buyers are running their numbers. Because your goal is to bring them the deal. So find out what their deal is. You know what I mean?
So probably have a personal talk with all your buyers and figure out.
Yes.
So then you could probably categorize them. Like you have landlords over here.
You could.
I just want rentals. I just want to purchase rentals.
You could, but.
So would a investor that's purchasing just rentals potentially pay more than what a fix and flip investor would do?
It depends. It's going to depend what the numbers are. It's going to be, every property is going to be different. So, but
so just shoot them out to everybody.
Yeah.
As long as your list is big, you'll find somebody.
Yeah, I just shoot it out to everybody. So pretty much where I was going with that is if your number's not working, you got it at 70 and you thought you could sell it at 80, your number's not working, then by knowing what your buyers want, you can do a deeper analyzation to see where your real number is.
And then just shoot it to those buyers that do their numbers like that.
Shoot it to the sellers that you now need it at this price. So let's say you reran your numbers and you had it for 70 and you're trying to sell it for 75 or 80. It didn't work. So now you did
more detailed analyzation, then you turn around and say, okay, I need to be at 58, not 70, because my buyer is going to buy it at 65.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you have to renegotiate the whole deal after the contract. So then, in that case, how do you come at the seller in that case? Just be honest with them. Hey, the numbers don't work.
Yeah,
if it doesn't work for the both of us, I'm sorry. We just, we can't help you.
Sorry, we can't help you.
Now they probably want full market at that point. So would you refer them to
you can
an
attempt
agent?
it. If they don't renegotiate, then yeah, you can say, hey, we can try this on the open market.
Okay.
So we'll do something like that.
Cool.
But the quick analyzation I was telling you about, it works.
Mm-hmm.
You can also analyze it the other two ways, as a rental and as a fix and flip, before you put it under contract if you really wanted to. But like I said, that then comes down to you actually knowing your rehab numbers.
Yeah.
That's the most difficult part.
So back to finding a contractor and knowing your real rehab numbers. What kind of contractors are we looking for? And B, do we pay them for every estimate they give us, or how do we add value to them to be able to work with us?
So what you want to do is, and obviously you can do your own tweak to it, or do your own thing, but in my opinion, you want to work with investor-friendly contractors, people who are contractors that are going to charge you or charge your end buyer an investor-friendly price.
Okay.
And you also got to make sure that they're legit. They've been in the business for a while. They can show you proof. They can even potentially walk you through some of their properties they're currently working on. Those are the ones you want to work with, not just some person on the side saying they can do this and can do that. You gotta make sure they're legitimate, because how you're gonna provide value to them is connecting them with your buyers.
So obviously a buyer's not going to mess with somebody that just does it on the side.
And you don't want your name out there like that either.
Okay.
But you're providing value to the contractor, because you're saying, hey, you run these numbers for me. If the numbers make sense when I sell this property, and the numbers make sense, I could potentially hook you up with the buyer who's buying.
So if the buyer that buys the property doesn't hire that guy because they got their own contractors,
then it is what it is.
Do you just work out, or
you can tell them, say, hey, if they don't use you, I can, $30 $50 to come run a quick inspection.
So you think anything over like $100 would probably be outrageous to do an inspection?
Say that one more time.
What do you think the typical price to have somebody come and give you an inspection? What kind of price would that be?
It's going to depend on area from area.
Really?
Yeah.
And also
every company, it's going to be different. But you also got to make sure, like I said, that they're legit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You definitely want to know what they're doing, and you're going to want a full inspection, including the foundation. So,
okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you want accurate numbers so you can give an accurate offer. If you don't have accurate numbers and you give a bad offer and you get it under contract, that bad offer, you're gonna waste your time trying to sell it.
Yeah.
Because if you got your rehab budget at $50,000, but it needs $70,000,
$20,000.
that's a big difference.
Yeah, that's a big
gap.
gap.
$20,000. So if you're thinking your buyer can make 70, or if you think your buyer's profit's gonna be, 20, 25. Your rehab budget is $20,000 difference. It doesn't make sense.
One more question. How would you suggest somebody to build their buyers list? Like, what would be the best way possible?
The best way for me is, one, being consistently growing it every single day, networking, calling people. So you can skip trace cash buyers on your. So whenever you pull up the cash buyers on the MLS, you can skip trace them.
Okay.
So you skip trace them, and you can call them. Same way you do sellers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also take it a step further and call like landlords on Zillow, landlords on Craigslist. If they're a landlord, they're probably looking for more properties. potentially. Say, hey, are you actively looking for properties? I think I got one for you. If they don't, then you can flip the script and see if they want to sell them. So it can go either way.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of tired landlords.
Yeah. You can have VAs do that for you too.
Skip trace to find buyers.
Yeah.
Just train them the same way you train them for a
Another
cold
thing
call.
is bigger pockets. Connecting with people on bigger pockets, Facebook, go in your local areas, like I said. Facebook, connecting with other real estate people.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of gems dropped, man. That's a lot of value in that one conversation. I think we're at like an hour.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot
so,
of gems dropped right there. So that's gonna, I hope that helps you guys, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I know it absolutely helped me, so I appreciate the conversation.
Absolutely, brother. You already know.
And I know you're giving a lot of value to everybody else too. So you guys listen to this dude, take notes. I hope you took notes. If you didn't take notes, replay this and take notes.
Sure.
And apply everything that Tyler said, because I mean, this is a guy that's literally built his business from ground up. He went through the process of the adversity and the setbacks, and there was probably many times that he wanted to give up, but he had a bigger will than that. So he pushed through it, and now he's with the big dogs, man, and he's on his way there. And this is a guy that's actually doing the business every single day, and he's putting that work in. So listen to this man. You know, tell a friend, show a friend, you know, tell a local wholesaler that you connect with. This guy brings a lot of content and value, and he's going to continue to bring more every single week. So you guys tune in, follow him on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Flip Real Estate. If you guys found this value in any way, just please share it, subscribe, follow me, and if you have any questions, reach out. I'll be happy to help you guys. All right, guys, later.